All right, hello. Donald Trump, again in the dollar bill. I just want to show you some connections. We've got a big date coming up. We've got the 4/9 date coming up. The only reason why um, I was looking at this certain decode is because I got sent a dollar bill through the mail, right? By, I don't know if it was Google or some tech company wanting me to do a survey, right? And they send a dollar bill through, and anyway, I took the dollar bill, binned the rest of the stuff. I didn't bother doing any other survey stuff, right? The dollar bill itself that they sent, what was interesting about it was actually, it just looked a little bit bigger. And part of the reason why it looked much bigger is because, I don't know if you can see on this one that's on the screen here, it's pretty central, the actual printed portion of it, to where it sits on the paper. The borderline is fairly even, but if you look at a dollar bill, you'll notice that a lot of the time they're off to one end with the printing. This dollar bill that I got through the mail was off to one end, and not only that, but it's a couple of millimeters longer than, like, I've got 3 or 4 dollar bills sat by my seat when I sit down on the computer, and that the dollar bill that I got sent is a good couple of millimeters longer than, these other dollar bills I've got sat by my seat, and it's the longest dollar bill I got. this dollar bill, right? So it kind of just made me think about looking at the dimensions of the dollar bill. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go look at the dimensions of the dollar bill. But again, this 4/9 date that we've got coming up, in September, the 4th of September, okay. Again, with Donald Trump's ear shot, right, the president getting shot in the ear, there is a reference here to the ear, right? And if you've seen some of my other decodes that involve all the number jumps and different dates that show up in the dollar bill, a lot of them revolve around using these leaves and berries as reference points, as certain dates and then certain number jumps. Okay, if you're new here, the best thing to do is just to go back to some of those old videos and check them out, and that will tell you what's going on, right? But during those number jumps, you will have heard me reference, you would have heard me reference the bunny ears at the top of the dollar bill. Okay, and at the top of the dollar bill we have the 2 and the 2, the 2 22, and this looks like rabbit ears here. These leaves look like rabbit ears, and then these leaves over here look like rabbit ears. And essentially what we're doing is we're taking a date over here from the leaves and berries and doing a hop over to this side of the dollar bill and back again. And so you'll have heard me, say follow the white rabbit, which is these bunny ears. Okay, just did the Donnie Darko decode where Donnie Darko shoots Frank, and of course there's a ton of reference back to Trump with Donnie Darko, but obviously in that scene where he shoots Frank, we can pick out the actual date quite easily for the assassination attempt. And again, we're dealing with the bunny ears, yeah. Neo, the one, is got to follow the white rabbit, yeah, the jump over, right? And the rabbit shows up, the bunny ears show up all over the place, the president, all this to do with the birthday of the president, the rebirth of the president, right? Marilyn Monroe singing happy birthday to JFK, yeah. The bunny ears, the Playboy bunny, okay. There's just so many references to it. It's crazy. Anyway, the whole thing with the earshot, though, could it be a reference to, these number jumps through the idea of the white rabbit up here, the bunny ears, yeah, the ear here and the ear on the president. I don't know. It might be a stretch for some people, but for me, that it seems like there's a connection there. Anyway, let's get on to the actual proper decode here instead of whiffly waffling on about all this stuff. Right, what I want to do is actually let me go back and show you the dimensions of the dollar bill. Right, width, because this is what was triggered by this bill that came through the mail that was oversized. And we're going to, because it was oversized, we're actually going to look at some variances on the actual size of the dollar bill. 6.14 inches, right? So we can see that in inches we have Donald Trump's birthday reference, 614. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then that approximates to 156 millimeters, which again we know is tied to 911 through the prime number, through the composite number, and I'll show you that in just a second. Then below here we've got the height, which again is really interesting. 2.61 inches, which again, when this whole thing kicked off, okay, the thing that I think about when this whole thing just started snowballing out of control was Kobe, the death of Kobe Bryant, right? We just saw his father die just recently as well. I haven't even touched on doing the decode on that, but what do I want to say? That is the date right there, the 26th of January, 261. Okay, and that approximates to 66.3. Boy, extremely close to the good old 66.6 or 666. But we're going to look again at the variations on these things, right? Because it's really interesting how this stuff ties together and what we get when we look at the variations. Okay, so what I want to show you first of all is I want to show you what do I want to show you? In fact, I don't even think hang on a minute, there it is. So here is our actual number that equates to 156. Actually, before we do that, before we get all excited and show you, well, there's the number there. Before I show you that, actually, let's go back, and I just want to show you one other thing that's kind of interesting. Donald Trump's actual connection with the gematria to the dollar bill. So if we put Donald John Trump in, okay, we can see this 220, 76, and if we put $1 bill in, again we've got 220 in the reverse and 76. They match up, so we've got half the numbers matching up here in our gematria, which is, I call that significant, okay, especially as they match up and they're not like half of, I mean, they match up, half of it is matching up, right? So I'd say that's fairly significant. Also with the 2-2, just the straight numerology there of 2-2, which is again with the bunny ears, that's kind of nice, right? So we've got this match with dollar bill and Donald John Trump, right? We've got the birthday in the dimension, in the length of the dollar bill. We've got Donald Trump's birthday, okay? So with that being said, I want to also show you, well, let's go to, we're going to have to back up here. Let's just go and let's go back over the 156, so that if you're new, you've not seen this before. 156, the connection with 911 is the 156 prime number is 911. Derek has now put in the composite numbers thanks to, well, both him and Zenith for kind of getting that thing going. Again, look at the connection with the composite number, the 119th composite number. Okay, so this is, when we're looking at this is very, very significant. Okay, so 156 is a straight tie-in with 9/11. Now we know that Donald Trump also in the gematria was 88. 88 is the opposite number to where 9/11 occurs in the Fibonacci, in the reduced Fibonacci sequence, in the cycle of Fibonacci, 24 digits in a cycle. 88 balances with the number 11. That number 11, what comes before the number 11 is the number 9. What comes after the number 11 is 2. Yeah, so when you see 9/11 referenced with 88, you know those are balancing numbers across a cycle. Yeah, in fact, it's just that number 11 that's balancing with the 88. And this is why we're seeing like somebody like Joe Biden now, who has a 112 birthday. He has the 20th of November, if I'm remembering correctly. Again, he's part of that thing, you know. So it's all, I mean, it's all really, really interesting right now. Okay. But what I want to, so let's go back to this blooming, the actual conversion here now, because this will make a little more sense. So what I've actually got is I've got the exact conversion in, right? Because if we get rid of, let's get rid of the 173, which is, again, if we look at the 173, this is the numerology, albeit jumbled up, for the 13th of July that's on the end of that, right? So if we just put 6.14 in, you can see that actually it's 155.956, you know. Now, again, I come back to this thing with the approximation stuff. You know, I think that's done deliberately to get two numbers in there that need to tie together, 614 and 156, right? You know, there's no, I mean, for you know, really they could have put, you know, 155.96 in there if they wanted to round it a little bit. 2 decimal places, to me, if they're going to use 2 decimal places for the bloody inches, why can't we use 2 decimal places for the millimeters? You know, no, I think it's about getting that other number in there, you know, getting the 156 in there. And then what we see is that this, oh, bloody hell, then what we see is the, well, I don't know why I can't do that, just highlight 3 numbers out of there for some reason, but anyway. I just don't have the skill set to operate a computer, I guess. But anyway, what we've got is we've got Donald Trump's birthday in there, and then we've got the numbers that tie in with the assassination attempt. I just thought that was really interesting. Also, check out the formula here. I'm surprised I even noticed this, but when we go from inches to millimeters, check out the formula. Multiply the length value by 25.4. Yeah, 25.4. The 254th day of the year is 9/11. So again, it's super duper interesting, right? Another thing we can look at as well is we can go and actually look at the, you know, the variations on this stuff. So we can go back to 155, and you'll see that, you know, it's the 118th composite, which is interesting, and the 155th prime is 907, which again, another really interesting number, especially as tying into the 7th of September coming up, and gold and all the other things, you know. Look at the composite here. Okay, the 155th composite is 202. Yeah, with the 2 bunny ears again on each side of the dollar bill. I mean, it's just little things like that that are just is really it's kind of interesting, you know. And we can go back up to this one, and then let's go up to what I want to take you up to though is the dollar bill that I got through the mail, which, what the hell, come on, was 157 um, millimeters long. Okay, which was really interesting because it's the 37th prime. Okay, and 157 again is half of pi. Okay, or at least, you know, the first three did, you know, half of 314. It's a number that shows up in the chart of Lorraine. For new people, we'll go to that in just a second. But 157 is super duper important as well. The idea of the end of a cycle. Look at our prime number 919. The 157th prime is 919 again. The death of the Queen. The burial was on 919, and then this composite number of 204, the 157 composite number 204. Again, that's another number that shows up. I've talked about it previously, and without spending a bunch of time, it just connects Madonna into, you know, through the numbers of phi back into the numbers of the Fibonacci sequence and back into 911. Okay, so just very interesting with these numbers. But again, what we have, you know, to go back over it, is this 156 connection to 911. And then when we look at 156 exactly, what we find is that the inches measurement that corresponds with this actually contains those the 173 or the 317, or those set of numbers that tied into the earshot. Just kind of interesting. We can also, let's also look at the height of the dollar bill, because we have the 66, it's 66.3, but we have the 66. So this is important to look at as well. We can only really look at 66 and 67. So let's look at 66 first. And what do we have? The 66 millimeters. We have the 66 prime number is 317. Okay, just, it's absolutely mental, you know. Look at the composite number. The 66 composite number is 91. Okay, this is, you know, the 91. I mean, this whole thing, the whole thing from Kobe onwards with the 19, just mental. Again, there was something else I was wanting to say about 91 as well. Can't remember what it was now. Or 19, I can't remember. Something interesting anyway. I'll come back to me maybe. And we've got Independence Day here. You know, this is very interesting with the idea, you know, because we're only a few days after this. So again, 11th triangular number. Holy cow. Another thing, let's go to 67 now. Well, I'll show you where some of these numbers pop up in the chart of rain. 19th prime. Okay, now check out the 67th prime number now. 331. This year, Easter was 331. And if you've been following the decodes with the 49 that's coming up, this year, last year it fell on Labor Day. This year, Labor Day is going to fall on the 2nd of September. Okay, and this all ties in with this, you know, the Labor Day thing. And there's also another big number jump of 30,000 and 33 days from Donald Trump's birthday through to this 4/9 date, the 4th of September in 2028, which happens to be Labor Day that year. And again, you need to really know the dollar bill folds and decodes to know this, but what I call that 4/9 number jump, right, is to do with Labor Day. Okay, that's the important thing that connects in with this. Is Labor Day is not really about the worker, it's really about giving birth, going into labor. Okay, but this is interesting with this composite number 92 because again this year is Labor Day is on the 2nd of September. Okay, all tying in with the 4th again. Man, I wish I could remember what I was going to say about 19. I just can't remember it now off the top of my head. Anyway, yeah, I think that's about it for the decode. Just absolutely fascinating that that we are getting this connection to the number 11. This is the thing that's been lost that we're trying to get back to, right? And our first cross reference down here is both the idea of independence, yeah, coming out of the matrix 47, and also 317. Donald Trump's, just read it in reverse, 713, 713. That number there, the earshot. So, and it was close by, wasn't it, to 47? It was within earshot. I gotta leave it there. I can't remember if there was anything else that was interesting with these conversions. No, I don't think there was. No. Anyway, one other thing with the 614, check out the 155 is part of the number jump that gets us to 49, right? The 4th of September, and we've also got 95 coming directly after that. Okay, which if this thing were to happen with the Hoover Dam, the likelihood is it would be a midnight hour. Well, it might not be, but the ritual would be that it ought to be a midnight hour thing. Okay, in the midnight hour, the switch over from one day to the next day. Yeah, the reset of the clock. That's the whole thing with the midnight hour, the reset of the clock, starting over afresh. So I guess it doesn't necessarily have to happen then, but anyway, 9/5 is a very important date. Obviously, the follow on from 9/4. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, Donald Trump's birthday, 9/11, and we also got the numerology for the earshot, and we also got, looking at the height of the dollar bill as well, we also got back to the 317 as well, the 713. So hope you enjoyed that. I know there's a lot of waffle in there, sorry. Just too much. There's too much stuff right now, especially with the Olympics. I might do a little Olympic something on it. I don't know. Anyway, too much stuff to do. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on another one soon. Cheers. Alright, bye.